Welcome back, Agate boys and girls. It's your favorite agate dealer Joshua from Germany, and as promised we are doing another extended version of the Parallax video that I already loaded up to YouTube a few weeks ago, and I just want to go a little bit more into detail of what creates this fantastic parallax effect, which is my favorite feature in all kinds of agates. And there are locations where parallax more commonly exists than in other locations. For example, famous locations for the parallax, for example the agates from Agate Creek in Australia, which very commonly have a very strong parallax agate in this color combination of this yellow greenish kind of color. There's a lot of this kind of material, so these are some of the least expensive parallax agates you can find worldwide. That also counts for the Botswana agates, for example. Like in this piece, you can see the banding is extremely fine and harmonically swung and still has some beautiful colors. And in Botswana agates there's also big differences in parallax effect. Some have very strong, some only have slight parallax effect, but that counts for all kinds of agates. And this crazy piece has one of the strongest parallax effects I've ever seen, not only in Botswana agates, but it's just blowing my mind because the angles are so sharp. It just doesn't look real. Like you can hardly even spot that there's any kind of banding, but with the parallax it just makes it so much more visible, and also like in which kind of angles the parallax is shaped. One of the most famous locations for the parallax are the Laguna Agates from Mexico. I would say in almost pretty much every second agate you will cut from this place will have some sort of parallax effect, because that's just how they have geologically been constructed. And also for the Laguna Agates it's really interesting to see that they can have the parallax effect in all kinds of different colors. This one, for example, has the parallax in all white color, which is the most common color for the parallax to exist, because it has the strongest contrast between the bands, which actually creates the effect. And the effect is actually created by the angle of the light, in which angle it shines inside of the stone, but also the angle in which you look inside of the stone, because for the parallax you need to have one translucent band right next to another band which either has white or a different color. Anyhow, it needs to have one clear band in between that you're always able to either see deep inside of the stone or the side of the layer of the next band. So that is how you will, if you look deep inside of the stone, it makes the band appear darker, and if you look at the side of the next stone, it will appear in a lighter color or in the color of whichever the next color of the next band is. So that is really what creates this effect, and it's also so interesting to see that it's not only dependent on the angle you look at it, but also it's dependent on the angle the light shines inside of the stone. This is another really special old stock Laguna agate, which I got years ago from Gary Wizema, who's a famous agate dealer in the United States. And I love this piece a lot because it has the combination of the white parallax and the yellow parallax in the center of the stone. So multicolored parallax is something that is, I would say, a lot less common than having the parallax only in one color. That's another really large size specimen, really heavy piece as well, which is an old stock piece, and I got this one from Gary as well. Really great guy. This is another really special piece. This is a piece I got directly from the miner Andres Carrillo a couple of years ago, and it was when I visited him in Mexico, I believe, that I bought this piece, but it was not in the shape it is now. So this was a piece I recut because the center was not opened up yet, and I decided to make the recut, and it opened up more towards the center and also created a stronger parallax in this piece. And up to date, this is one of the favorite parallax pieces that I have personally cut, and I just love the combination of the yellow and pink color in combination with this strong effect together. There are also locations where parallax effects don't come by that often. For example, locations where you hardly ever see it is in most European countries, but for example another famous stone where you hardly never see any parallax effect is, for example, in Chinese agates. Or, I don't have any Chinese agates with parallax here because it's so rare. I might have one or two, but I don't have any samples to show here at the moment. But condor agates are also one of the rarest agates where parallax agate can occur. And this one's got a super fine parallax in the center bands with white. And also it's super interesting to see that sometimes the banding with the fine banding is only concentrated in one area of the stone, but not going throughout all of the entire stone. A few other locations where parallax sometimes happens, but it's pretty rare, are these two really cute agates from Czech Republic. They're hardly even an inch in size, but just so beautiful to look at. And then I have one really special agate, which is maybe one of my favorite agates in the entire collection. And every time I feel like I might lose a little bit the love of agates when I look at this one, I can be sure it's coming back. And even the people who don't know about agates and they come visit me, they're just blown away by this piece. And it's just so fantastic because it has this fine banding all over the specimen, but also these beautiful eye agates which kind of break the kind of round going parallax piece like in a lot of the classic Laguna agates, for example. And here it looks like just pure craziness with the bands moving all over the place and these eyes kind of breaking this symmetrical pattern that most of the pieces with parallax will regularly have. So now I showed you a good percentage of my favorite parallax pieces for locations and also some specific pieces, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and leave an abo and a like, and I'll see you soon again.